Let's see.
Okay, there it is. Doesn't have any other like.
Let me see.
Just give me your name. I'm not taking my phone anymore. Say, just give me your name. Don't touch my phone anymore. You don't let me touch your stuff.
Give me the phone.
What?
Anyone of my songs. I don't care. What's up, everybody? We are live. Gonna wait a little bit for people to get on in here, but stay in with the Christocrats. Our first real official live joint. Our first official live conversation is 9 o'clock on a rainy Tuesday night in the land of wherever we live. I'm not gonna tell you where we live. Y'all see my dog in the background. She doesn't belong over here. Hallie, go. She's a mixed lab boxer, lab boxer who never grows up. So if you're coming in here, if you're in here, say hello, say what's up to us, let us know who you are. We're gonna have some good conversation, and we're gonna talk. We're gonna chop it up, and just give another couple minutes here. I'm at about 3 minutes is when we're gonna get started. But so just come on in, grab your friends, get some popcorn, whatever. We're gonna have some conversation. We want you guys to enjoy and to participate. I want to know what your opinions are. We're going to talk about some of the things of the day, what's going on during that hot topics of the day, and really chop it up. So stick around and for those of you who may be watching this after the feed, we appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, share the video. Let's get it popping. Get our whole movement, Christocratic movement, going here.
What's that? Type.
You nothing came up?
Only one song, Alien.
Just play that. What's up? Rachel Kramer, is that your name? Is that how you say it, Kramer? How's it going? Thanks for joining us. Where are you joining us from? Is it from YouTube or did you see it on Facebook? Did you see the advertisement on Facebook? We got about 10 more seconds and we're going to get started here. Hopefully people come and join us in here. So we got lots to talk about. What's going on? Lots going on. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to tell you what a Christocrat is if you haven't. New York City. Woo woo. That's my hometown. You see that? New York. Although we didn't do that well this year. I've been a New York fan since I was a little kid, since the 70s. I don't know what's going on in New York. What y'all doing up there? A lot of craziness has been going on up there, but it's my first home. So I grew up in Brooklyn. That's where I come from. That's right. We didn't do that well this year, but we got Saquon, and we got turn it down just a little bit. We got
My mother DJ.
We got Brooklyn. No, what was I saying? We got Saquon Barkley, and we got to the first official live stream of the Christocrats. It's cold and there are a lot of closet conservatives. See, Rachel, what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring the conservatives out of the closet. Yep. Come out the closet. Matter of fact, I should get a T-shirt that says "Conservatives out the closet conservative," something like that. We're trying to get conservatives to come out the closet. It's kind of crazy that we as conservatives have to feel like
we should have a political reveal.
Oh yeah, that would be so dope. You know how they have political, or like they have baby reveals. You know how they have baby reveals, like a boy or a girl or whatever. We should have a conservative reveal.
No, but that lady did it on and they had it all over the news, like for her child or transgender.
They did the train. Yeah, they do it for the transgender stuff. Why don't we can do it? We say, you know what? I'm going to come out as conservative. Yay! We have
a black conservative.
At that. Coming out party. That's right. We need to do that. The thing is, we need to stop being so apologetic for being
having the truth,
right? For being truthful,
yep.
for being the ones that like have the cures to the issues. That we get pushed into a corner, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but we seem to get pushed into a corner where the liberals try to tell us that we're the ones that don't have compassion. We're the ones that are
the very things that they do. They accuse us conservatives
the very things
of
that
doing.
yes. What's up, one in the 1024? I see you, and it says, "Where's the MAGA hat?" Well, I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit. That's a very good question. It's a very good question. I have a reason. There's a reason why I don't have a MAGA hat on, and I hesitate to wear one. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why in a little bit. So stick around. You're gonna probably like the answer. But yeah, why are we so? We allow the liberals to push us in a corner, and they say, "Oh, you're a bigot, or you're a this, or you're a that, you're a homophobe," and we just don't. We don't push back. We don't we allow them to push us in a corner, and we're not proud of being conservatives. But we have the answers. We have the answers. The most compassionate person has to be conservative. The person that is most for everybody to have their own rights should be conservative. We don't want the government to be in your business. We want the government to be out of your business so you can thrive. We want to set the atmosphere so you can thrive, and that's on the conservative side.
Right?
So we don't need to be shrinking back. But anyway, this channel, the Christocrats, what sets us apart from all the other conservative channels. There's a lot of them out there. Christocrats, CHRISTO, not I, because my wife told me that if I use I, it's Christy.
You look like you're a Christocat.
Like the Aristocats, but it's a Christocrats.
We're gonna start scatting.
When you're a jet. No, what a Christocrat is, and believe it or not, it goes all the way back to the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and all the way back to the beginnings of our country, where Benjamin Rush was the first one that penned that phrase, what a Christocrat is. And what it is someone who adheres to Christian principles as it pertains to everything in life, especially politics, over everything. What it is not a call for a theocratic government, but it is a call for those who believe to filter your belief system, even when it comes to politics, through the lens of scripture, through the lens of your walk with the Lord. And when you do that, you usually will always end up on the conservative side.
The values of conservatives
will line up with the values of what the Bible says on almost everything, every single thing. People will try to tell you that Jesus was a socialist. No, he was not. All the parables in the Bible show you that God, if he's going to support any system, it would be capitalism. The parables show you that. So that's my son in the background there.
Yeah, let him come here.
So if there's anything, we should be proud of who we are as conservatives.
Sorry.
And not allow. Hold on a second.
Sorry. Let him come here.
We gotta, this is real life here. So I have a 2-year-old who is probably past his bedtime.
Hey, baby.
What's up, man?
Come here, man. You want Hallie? Let him be.
Y'all see him?
Come here.
Hallie, leave him alone.
Hey, baby.
So anyway, we're gonna talk about everything here. So so that's what Christocrats are. And if you want to join, it's not like a political movement or political party, but it is a movement that I'm trying to get going so that we can see God's kingdom established in politics, in pop culture, in life, and families.
And I think the big thing a big reason why you're wanting to do that is because people have to start understanding that politics does affect us big time.
Right.
As believers, as people, whatever, like we are affected by,
Politics, we can't get away from it. Don't let people tell you that thank you. I know he's cute. He's a crazy man too. But politics, what it does is it oh, what's up, Kenya? She's watching. That's my sister. She's sick over there. Let's pray for Kenya. In the name of Jesus, be healed.
You said it the name.
But politics affects everything. All politics is the outcropping or the outgrowth of people's morality and how their morality, the populace's morality, controls how society will conduct itself. That's all politics are. And whose morality is going to win. And then you can pick any You can pick any hot button topic, and what it'll come all the way down to is the morality of the people that are, doing, promoting whatever political ideology that they have. So do not let them push you into a corner and say you can't talk about politics. They don't want you to talk about politics using your opinion, your conservative opinion. So that's what Christocrats is about. We're gonna really build it up big. We have big visions for it. If we can get a lot of people galvanized, we want to do conferences. We want to encourage people to live out their life, building the kingdom, and get involved in politics, pop culture.
And just overall, just not using the excuse of, okay, like people can't be perfect or whatever, because you're not, obviously people kind of have come to this whole thing of thinking, okay, like Christians always want to act like they're perfect, blah blah blah, and it's like, no, I'm a human being who makes mistakes, who goes through things or whatever. But at the end of the day, what is you gotta what's your stance?
It's about being real.
Right.
It's about being real and what you're striving for.
Right.
What you're striving for. So, hot button topics of the day. Let's talk about it. Jussie Smollett.
God bless him.
Jussie Smollett. God bless him. Jesus, God, Lord, seriously. Help that baby. Help the little
You know what?
baby.
It's just sad. Like the whole thing. But you know what's just crazy is that, like, how many people, Christians, non-Christians, who were like calling this from the beginning that this was just straight up.
Yeah, and what's crazy is, like, we called it. Conservatives called it from the very beginning.
And the second I read this, I was like, oh,
it didn't sound right. It
just didn't. And I guess, but for me too, though, with him, the big thing was just the fact that I knew he was a Trump basher, but I mean, and for some reason, like the details were just like,
it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. Like a lot of us conservatives on Twitter, especially a lot of black conservatives, were like, my BS meter went off. Like, I could smell doo-doo from a mile. Doo-doo brown. We could smell that from a mile away. I mean, come on. We don't have to go over the whole story again.
And then now you got me and my people looking suspect.
See, my wife is Nigerian. When she heard there was Nigerians involved, she said, no.
I'm like, and this happened a day before the Nigerian president, before the news broke, a day before the the elections. Hey, Elisha, he's coming your way.
The day before the Nigerian elections. I didn't know that.
Yeah, because I was talking to my dad about it. My dad was like, "Oh, but he's like, the elections is tomorrow." I was like, "That's crazy," but yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, so what? Beforehand, right? Kenya, Hollywood is mighty quiet right now. It's funny because Hollywood and all the news outlets. All the same players, CNN, MSNBC.
But you know the one thing I will say that you're noticing though? Like, I mean, even though I know the left isn't going to pay any mind to this, but look at how conservatives are handling the situation. Now, I mean, because believe it or not, like, because, of course we watch both sides to kind of balance it out. We watch Fox News, just kind of see what both sides are saying so we can hear for ourselves. And I legit have been watching, like, on both sides, Fox News, well, CNN barely kind of talking about it, even though they broke it, but broke the news. But Fox News is literally still kind of like, well, allegedly, confirmed it. Right. Because they're saying, like, still kind of like, not like, oh, dang, y'all are so stupid. They're not.
Here's a side note. Here's a side note I want to say about Fox News, okay? Only people that don't watch Fox News say that Fox News is extremely one-sided and don't give anything to the... Yes, Fox News leans to the right, for sure. I mean, one station out of 5,000. But if you actually watch Fox News, they have dissenting voices that are not stupid. And I agree with them.
I agree with Fox News. I'll say like 85%. Because, I mean, there's stuff that they can say on there that I'm like, okay, y'all are just dumb. But, like, 85% of the time, like, I can listen to what they're saying and say, okay, you know what, like, if you were to really process it.
Well, they have people on there like Shep Smith, who might as well be a liberal. But he's on there and he has a show, and he has a midday show, and Juan Williams and stuff. And I'm gonna talk about that in a second, SNL. But you have the whole it's the only major media outlet that's on network television that you could see where they're giving you both sides.
Is he with you, Lisha?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
And so they're the only one that's like that. But what's crazy is that you don't see. Now, if this was on the other hand, flipped around, it was like a conservative actor who did something like this,
Or Brett Kavanaugh.
You see how quickly SNL came up with a skit bashing Brett Kavanaugh, and they went hard, they went in on him. But are you going to see any, like, have we seen any skits about Ocasio-Cortez? Like she's given us so much material to make fun of, and have you seen one skit about like making fun of them? Right. And then now have you seen one skit, anything about it? Jussie Smollett thing's been going on for 2 weeks straight. And what do they open with? They don't open with the most the hottest story going around. They open with another thing bashing Donald Trump with Alec Baldwin.
And they'll have excuses for that. They'll definitely have an excuse and say that the reason is because it has not been.
What's up, Elisha?
Concluded or confirmed or whatever. The Chicago Police Department is still.
But see that's a BS argument because Brett Kavanaugh was still being investigated, and the whole thing was the hearings weren't even over with yet, and they were making fun and jokes and okay, great. If we're gonna make fun and poke fun at, great, okay, that's good. But what's up, forbidden information? Even if we're gonna poke fun, that's good, but do it on all sides. Do it all the way around. But they're not gonna do that. So. Jussie, I don't know. Do y'all think Jussie's going to get some jail time? We don't think so. I don't think he's going to get jail time.
I honestly, if I'm being honest, I think this stuff is going to it's not done yet. Like,
thanks, seriously. Rachel, for your super chat. We appreciate you. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Woohoo! Shout out to Rachel from New York.
Hey, Rachel from New York. But no, it's just. I don't know.
I would hope so, but then again, the Hill monster ain't nowhere near going to jail, and she's
you
had people killed.
Just real quick, also just touching on this whole Jussie situation.
Jussie,
it's so funny because you can't help but like say his name. You're like Jussie, like Jussie. You can't just say his name. That's a slave name. If Jussie, not Jesse, it's Jussie. Just get your butt over here. Get your light skinned butt over here. Anyway, that's no, but listen, like the thing for me that I think people are like bypassing though is the again back to the whole point of the left is consistently the things that they are consistently accusing the right of doing is what they're doing. Last month it was those kids,
right,
and end up being. Incorrect.
But let's talk about that for a second.
I watched that whole video.
Right.
And did you hear anything about those black Israelites?
No. I mean, you did after the video. But check this out. Y'all tell me how. Y'all tell me how this happens.
Peanuts. Okay? That sounds like something else. I said something else. Peanuts.
Oh, I don't know what you're saying. But those kids. What was that kid's name? The kid that was. At
let me look at
the Covington students, right? Talking about the hypocrisy of the left and how the reason why we're talking about this too is just to kind of encourage you that like these people are not going to stop. The hypocrisy is not going to subside. It's just going to get worse and worse. That means that you and I need to ratchet up our ability to speak out. But I'm going to talk about something before we end
Nick
that is
Salmon?
very needed. Yeah, Nick Salmon was
hold on, my bad. Hold on.
Yeah, Nick Sandstorm. That's his name. His name was Sandstorm.
It was then.
It was Sandman or Sandstorm something. Nick. That's the old Nick. But he, last week or a couple weeks ago, what happened to that? What happened to that story? And we all saw the video.
Well, no, what people did was go online and like watch the little highlighted. I watched it. It was like almost 2 hours.
It was a 2-hour video.
Yes, and I think I sent you the link. And if you watch that entire thing, I mean, obviously, what people need to stop like tripping over is that you were once a teenager yourself. So fall back and step back and like.
Well, before we even go there, like. No matter what happened, if you watch the video, first of all, they put the little clip. We all know what happened. It was a little clip they put up, right. And Even in that little clip, in that little clip, the young person, the white dude, was standing there. Whether it was a smirk on his face, whether it was a smile, whatever it was, he was not the aggressor. I'm telling you, if somebody, where's the drum at? Where we had a drum? I don't know where the drum went. But if somebody came up to me with a drum going doom 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 and saying whatever, I'd have been like, dude, get out of my face. Like that would have been seen as a aggressive move. Right. So you in my face like this with drum, dum 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 dum. Come on now, you gonna catch an eye jam if you do that to me. And so that little kid, he catch a what? An eye jammy. That's a New York term. Like, wow, your eye jammed up. He showed a lot of restraint. The big question: what will Empire do to Jesse? Well, they've cut out a lot of Jesse's Jesse.
Oh yeah, they did say that. They said because they have like 5 more episodes or something rather. They said they did write off a lot of his.
They cut out a lot of his scenes, and I guarantee you, next season, brother ain't gonna be on.
But you know what, a lot of people were commenting, which I think is a really good point. People were like, people online were like, when they asked the show, like they weren't gonna admit if they were gonna actually write him off.
Right,
like,
they're not gonna say that. They're gonna play that close to the chest. But so my question is, we're going back to Jesse. Where is Jesse? Where is he? Where's Jesse? We need to find Jesse. See what's going on. But I'm just saying, we need to pray for him. That's right. We need to pray for him. He's gonna get. This thing was so too big. I don't think that something's gonna happen. But
leave my people out.
But I think the Nigerian boys, there was some big husky dudes.
Right.
But we need to know what we're talking about and speak in love, but be truthful. Let's not gloat. Let's not spike the football. But at the same time, let people know we were talking about this, and this is the reason why Donald Trump is going to get elected again. If the liberals. He don't even have to say one more word between now and 2020. Just let them do what they're doing because they're pushing people towards Donald Trump like they did in 2016. And with his track record so far, there's nothing that unless short of Donald Trump killing somebody on television, it's not going to stop him from becoming president.
Well, I've said it 80 million times. I mean, I know a lot of times people, I don't know, it's that whole thing of people complain about his delivery on things and all sorts of craziness, but like, is that whole thing of like, if you were to actually step back for a second and listen, right. Well, listen, number one, and then number two, like, see, like, I'm actually trying to save you and help you, and it's like people are just so angry and are so like brainwashed.
Well, we're going to talk about this not on this one. The left is, Rachel says, the left is targeting white straight men, conservative black men, and all Christians. You are absolutely correct, 1,000% correct. The biggest target right now is straight Christian white males. That is the biggest target right now. And I'm gonna tell you right now, one of my best friends in life altogether from the beginning is a straight Christian white male. This dude, me and him, we were like thick as thieves, and we keep in touch now. Keep in touch now, but we're all adults. But especially as believers, we need to understand that when one is attacked, we're all attacked. Me as a black person, I'm sure some of you other black conservatives out there get name called. It doesn't even bother me anymore. But they'll call you names and all that stuff and get at you.
Not realizing that it's an insult for you to assume, like literally, it's an insult for you to assume that because number one, I'm black, that I am automatically
right. That you're automatically a Democrat.
Like that is insulting. Like that is extremely insulting.
Because it's the racism that they try to talk. And I know we're kind of flowing with conversation. I got some other stuff we're going to talk about real quick. I don't want to go too long. But the racism that they try to say that they are so much against is they perpetuate it by insinuating that all black people or all white people or all gay people or whatever have to think a certain kind of way is racist in and of itself.
But the truth of the matter is, I know, and I think you had mentioned this earlier, where you may lean more towards being a conservative because of primary reason. I was trying to use another word. The primary reason being because it lines up. You have because today, if Democrats switch to being the ones that lined up more with what God's word said,
right,
then that's where we would be leaning.
That's what a Christocrat is.
That's what
a Christocrat
you lean towards the like. If the caveat is if you are calling yourself, and that is the issue that I am having, is that if you are calling yourself a Christian, I'm not talking to anybody else. If you call yourself a Christian, just like if I call myself a vegetarian, I can't be a vegetarian
and eat a bunch of meat,
and you know what I'm saying, like,
and then still swear you're a vegetarian.
And then people that are like, yo, we're vegetarians, and you give them, and you looking at them like, oh, you just what would you call them? A meatist. You are just a meatist. Shut up. No, they are standards, and if you're a Christian, there are certain standards and morals and values that you will live by
in order to be considered in any category. So this whole thing where they try to malign you or whatever, and that kind of segues right into what I wanted to talk about next. And y'all tell me, y'all tell me if this is ringing true to you. And by the way,
no, it's not.
And by the way, I wanted to shout out our sponsors today. We're sponsored by popsicle sticks. Popsicle sticks that I try to put together to make a stand for my camera. Thank you for your endorsement, and go get some popsicle sticks. And we're also endorsed by Little Chinese Cup. Little Chinese Cup, the drink tea out of that somebody's husband got him for Christmas. And our last sponsor of the day is Nigerian Parents. Thank you for your sponsorship of this channel. We love you, and go out and get yourself some Nigerian Parents. Anyway, you made a house with them this summer with what? Oh, popsicle sticks. Yep, see? They're a good sponsor. Until we get sponsors that actually pay. So anyway, it segues into what I want to talk about. Have you guys noticed that the Democrats, and not just Democrats, but the progressive Democrats, are now trying to adopt Christian lingo? Have you noticed that? They're trying to adopt Christian lingo. They've been doing it sporadically throughout the years, but now it's like every one of them are trying to do it to where they're trying to. I have my reason why I think that they're doing this, but let me give you some examples first before we give them examples of any ones you can think of. One that comes off the top of my head is Nancy Pelosi. Lately said that the Democrats are doing God's work and that Republicans, like a couple weeks ago, and that Republicans are wallowing in darkness.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi said that, and then you have why am I drawing a blank now? You have what was it? There was several instances where what's her face? She's running for president now. Not Klobuchar, the other girl. She is running for president, and she was at a black church, and she started to try to preach Ephesians chapter 6, where it talks about putting on the armor of God in order to fight the enemy, right? And no, not Kamala Harris, not her. She's that one is dangerous. Kamala Harris. But what's her name? It's not Klobuchar. It's the other one. It's the other Kirsten Gillibrand. That's her name. She sounds like underwear company. But she was in front of them at a black church, right? And gingerbread, Kirsten Gingerbread. She was at a black church, and she was talking about liberal, non-godly things, and was trying to say that we're put on the armor of God to fight against conservatives who are for Christian. It doesn't make any sense, but they're beginning to use Christian lingo.
I mean, but who else did that before?
Well, the enemy knows the Bible, I
mean, the devil probably knows the Bible more than I do.
Yeah, he does. Well, what are some other examples? There's other ones that are pretty prevalent. You've got these liberal pastors that
Oh,
are
you're talking about the chick with the purity ring
this Lutheran quote unquote liberal pastor lady who took girls' purity rings
and made a
and
vagina.
burned them down and made a vagina trophy and gave it to Gloria Steinem. It's crazy, man. Like they're trying to co-opt Christian Christian lingo. And why do you think they're doing that? Why do you think the left is doing that? I think they're doing it because they see that Donald Trump's base is basically believers and conservatives.
What we said earlier, where it's like, when you cannot, again, the thing you always say, when you know that, okay, you're not going to be able to sway, the next thing is to render
it useless.
Yeah.
So here's what I think. We are dangerous. We are Christians who are conservative and outspoken are the most dangerous people to the liberal progressive party, because we know that we truly know that we're not wrestling against them. We're wrestling against the spirits behind them. And when we fight the spirits behind them, yes, watered down churches is a big problem. It's a big problem, especially pastors that won't speak out and say things against fight against the machine. And it does sound unnatural coming out of their mouths, but they do it anyway. Like, notice this, you're going to see this more and more and more. You're going to see, people trying to and we can't let them do that. And what we're saying is that the reason why they're doing it is because the enemy, who we really are fighting, would love to water down our message, because there's a lot of us who are just quiet and hiding behind busyness of life or scared to speak out. And so they would love to co-opt the message, to water it down, to render it useless. They can't beat us, so can't beat God, so they want to render his word useless. So what is his word that pertains to politics? That there are absolute rights and there's an absolute wrong, right? That killing a baby is wrong. Killing an unborn child, no matter what trimester it's in, is wrong.
Well, no matter, because the one part they will and it makes their head, like a lot of people's heads explode, is even if the person was quote unquote raped, they're like, you expect me to keep the baby even if I was raped? I'm like, but the baby's an
innocent thing. Right. It sucks that happened. It's horrible. We want to love on you and all that when it happens. But it's wrong. You're right. And forbidden information, you're absolutely right. What used to be wrong is now right. And the Bible talked about it. Right. The Bible talks about that in the last days, right will be wrong and wrong will be right. And it'll be a very confusing time. And even the elect will can for possibly be deceived. Can for possibly. That was a great sentence. You go. But you and I don't have to be deceived. You and I don't have to be deceived. We know the truth and have to stick to it. That's why the Bible tells us to hide the word in our heart, that we might not sin against him. We need to hide the word in our heart. And in anything, what's up, Lee? Pure Imagination. What's going on, brother? Just join the conversation. We've been on for about 30 minutes. We're going to keep going. We've got a little bit to go. Add your 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 10 cents in there. But what we're talking about is how the left is trying to co-opt Christian lingo and trying to water down the message so that our message has no effect. But it's up to us to hold the line and to bring the conversation, always bring it back to, why are we free? Why do we have a free country? What is the reason why every man and woman should be considered free?
But you know what I'm sorry, go ahead. I just lost some track.
The reason, why do we hold these truths to be self-evident? That every man is created equal in the image of God. That's in our Declaration of Independence. But why? What is the impetus behind it? Why did the slaves feel like they could be free? Because they figured out that, number one, the human spirit to be free, but number two, they began to read and began to be able to read the Bible and find out for themselves that they were created, that God still saw them as created in his image. So they don't need to be held down by anybody else. Everything else, everything that's made this country great, what it was comes from the very bottom of it, comes from the notion that we are created in God's image. Right. And so we need to continue to bring it back always work our way back to that truth. Because what profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? If I win all these debates, if we have conservative presidents for the rest of America's time, but everybody goes to hell, then it's of naught, right? So Christocratism, if you could say it, we mainly know that we're not of this world. God, believe it or not, God is not an American. God is not a Frenchman. God is not. He's not. You know.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. God's not an American.
All day. Breaking news.
He did create America to be a light on the a city on the hill.
There's a reason why and that's on the side note where so many people, and I mean, and my family and myself are a product of that, where it's like there's a reason why people are wanting to come into this country because and what's and a lot of times I don't blame people, but sometimes I do, because it's one of those things where, like, until you have seen it for yourself, until you have seen like third world country, like with your own eyes,
right?
Your brain, your wildest imagination cannot
and then
even
compare it to here.
To know when you if you want to see real police brutality and corruption,
go to some of these places.
Like, I mean, I'm talking about, I talk to you all the time about how, like, when we traveled back to Nigeria, like, imagine having to have a stop at a police checkpoint every 30 minutes on giving them money, like.
Did y'all hear that? Check this out. So in Nigeria, and again, every country has places where there's just beautiful and it's beautiful.
I mean, it's not, and I'm not saying it's like that, right? I'm just saying, but it is stuff that people, jokes and things that people.
But third world countries are called third world countries for a reason. And my wife says that in Nigeria, you literally get stopped every 20 minutes by the police, depending on where you're at.
You literally can go through, like, in God knows, in less than almost an hour, you can go through 6-7 police checkpoints, and you gotta
pay money to get out of it, or else they'll do something to you.
I mean, they can trump up charges. Whatever. It's not so much that they will do something to you, but they can, or just give you hell or hold you up for a while, or whatever.
See, Rachel, I'm sorry, but you're right. I want to acknowledge people when they put up there. Nat Turner, she said his insurrection was that he read the word, then that's when he knew that he could be free. That's exactly what I'm saying. The word of God is the impetus behind America. Forget about all the, the Illuminati and all that stuff was mixed in there too. But the whole beginning impetus behind America becoming a country was for religious freedom, so that we could pursue the giftings and what God's given us without having someone tell us what to do. It's freedom. That's where freedom is coming from. And so. So yeah, like, you can go to certain countries and, and people trip about Donald Trump calling certain countries S-hole countries. And I think his rhetoric was whack. He shouldn't have said that. That was, it's going to off-putting. It's horrible.
I'm just joking.
But the truth is that would you go live in those countries? Would they go live in them countries?
But the truth of the matter is that in a lot of these countries, you do have to, there is no middle class. There's no middle class. You're either super rich, or you're just super, like, I mean, can't imagine dirt poor, and you're living in, and it's like, what people don't understand is, like, okay, and it's not to say, like, every place is just horrible and hideous or whatever,
right?
But
in general, in the general comparison,
there are beautiful places in Nigeria.
In all these places, there's beautiful, awesome, and I actually want to go to the breathtaking places that are awesome there, in those places. But in general, what we're saying. Living there. And so don't let the world, don't let the world tell you. And I am thankful too to live in America. With all of our flaws, with all of our shortcomings, at least we have the framework to fix ourselves. You have countries that have had the same problems for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years, and they don't have the impetus to fix themselves. Why? Because they don't have that bedrock that all men are created equal. And not created equal by the government. The government can't create anything. And
just a side note, I just want to throw this in here real quick. What people need to understand too, because a lot of people, and it's not to say, it doesn't take away from the fact that we do have a lot of issues here in this country, yes. But what people have to understand is that a lot of this stuff happens because no matter which way you want to look at it, we live in a fallen world. So if it's not the you know, I'm not gonna be ignorant to say, even with this whole justice situation, where like, you know, I'm sorry I went back to that racism doesn't exist. It exists. I've experienced racism and things, you know, as early as 3 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? Like you deal with things in life, but at the same time, I refuse to now be like, okay, like I'm gonna like no, that was that person's issue. That was you know, whatever, that was jacked up. They handle it at the time if you need to handle it at the time or whatever. You know, but at the same time, I'm not gonna act like, okay, racism is something that's only specific to here or just people. You look at stuff that happened in Rwanda. You look at stuff that happened in Nigeria.
That's black on black. That's just
happening
still happening
in Nigeria within the tribes. Like and it's like, I mean, it is brutal to where villages are getting wiped out today.
And it's not white people doing that.
And
to black people.
It's to each other. So I'm saying, like, you have evil, period.
It's just evil. It's just
evil. Know, and you have racism, period. Like, but the thing is that we got to deal with it and stop acting like it. Just frustrates me. I'm not saying, like I said, that this country is perfect. It's not. But I'm saying it is a country that has been blessed,
and it's a country that knows that has parameters put in place to deal with these things. Other places they don't. Anyway, we're beating a dead horse. That's, you know, it's better to be here than other places. So Democrats, to wrap it up, nice tight bow. If you're going to start seeing, you're going to see, and I want you to have your antennas up to see that the Democrats and progressives are trying to co-opt Christian lingo and language. And anywhere you see it, speak out against it. Talk out against it, because we got to continue to hold up the truth so that when the counterfeit is shown up, people can tell the difference.
Well, we got to do what Jesus did, because just because they quoting whatever, like when the devil did it to Jesus was like, bruh, no, this is what actually, because that's what we have to do. Because again, it goes back to the whole thing of the spirit in which it's being said.
Right.
You look at the story of the that fortune teller, when I think it was Simon and in the Bible, where she was speaking truth. Right. She was like, these are the sons of, you know.
She was going behind him. You remember that story where they were preaching and Paul, and then she was going behind him talking about, was it a she or a he? I think it was a chick.
It was a chick, but it was her owner was like this. It was a dude, and he was going to put him in jail.
Right, and they were like, these are the sons of. Like,
she was speaking truth, but the spirit behind it.
Right,
and that's the thing. Like, you have to always test the spirit. Like,
and that's.
I might be getting too deep, right? I'm just saying.
Well, that's the thing. Democrats, they do love to twist God's message. But the reason why they do that is because they want to dilute the message.
I'm just joking.
They want to dilute it. She says a 6-7-year-old kid had a tantrum in the department store because his mom wouldn't take him to the Gucci department. Oh, you couldn't believe your ears. Well, I mean, that's the spoiled. That's the spoiled nature that we have allowed ourselves to get into.
No, I've seen that. Like at the Walmart, like this little girl, first of all, this girl could not have been older than 5'6". Like she had to be like my niece's age. And the girl, I was like, I didn't even care. Like I had to do a double take because I'm like, how in the world?
Another one, Lee? Wow, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. Lee, again, brother. Now I want you guys to go to Lee Pure Imagination's channel. Check it out. He does a lot of real clear, concise. Hey, Bubba, this is my wild and crazy son, Emmanuel.
Say
hey, everybody. He wants to go back to mama. That's a miracle baby. We'll tell you about him later. Both of our sons are miracle kids. But I want you guys to go check out Pure.
No.
What's it called again? Lee Pure Imagination. UTV and subscribe to his channel and spread his channel, share it. He puts up really cool, concise, like news type stories that are like boom, 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 that you can get it in some small parcels and really use it just real distilled down to what you need to hear about it. So go check him out. Appreciate you, brother. We're gonna collab very soon here. So last couple things we want to talk about real quick. Do y'all think that Joe Biden is going to jump in the race? Some people are saying, oh, there you go. Hold on. Some people say that we got to wait till our commercial break. So while we're doing our commercial break, I want to shout out another one of our sponsors, Burnt Candle.
Oh no, don't put my horrible.
Burnt Candle is a great sponsor.
Put my candle by my ugly, hideous class away.
Okay, so Joe Biden. Who was it that said today that Joe Biden?
It was on Wonderful
should run, and he would be the only one that would maybe give him.
Yeah.
What do y'all think? You think Joe Biden can give him a run for his money?
The person,
Uncle Joe, Crazy Joe. Have y'all seen those video clips of him like kind of groping little girls like when they're taking photo ops and stuff? It's real creepy. It's all over YouTube. You can check it out. But we've got a whole like clown car circus of 8 or 9 people.
Honestly,
I'm gonna have fun next year in the presidential leading up to the presidential debates, because Donald Trump will troll all of them, control every single one of them. I mean, Kamala Harris, really, that's the best that y'all can do, that they can put up. There's nobody there that's got any kind of stats that can come up against Trump and really do any damage. You know how much? I bet $1,000 million that in about a month you're gonna see old Hillbot creep up out of the woodwork. I bet you she will, because she gonna see.
You think Hillary's gonna run?
I think so, because think about it. You got just this morning. What's that dude's name? Y'all remember the Muppets, where they had the two old white dudes that were up in the balcony, and they would always like
listen to this.
Jeering everybody.
I was trying to look up. The dude who was saying the whole who brought up that Joe Biden should run, and some other article came up, right? And they said the reason Joe Biden should run is because he has crossover appeal to sane Republicans. Who
wrote that?
This was, I don't even know. Some company
what article?
Called Why Dot.
See, what's so funny is like they say little slick things like that, and they think they get away with saying little slick things like that, little jabby slick things. Yahoo is a major one.
Want to put my Christianity on top. I'm just joking.
Yahoo is a major one. Google is another one. Obviously CNN and all them. But notice how they try to little headlines. Joe Biden is the only one that can cross over to sane conservatives, Republicans, as if we're crazy. As if there's most of us are crazy. Of course, they're going to say that because they think that what we have to say is crazy. But Rachel said that she don't think Joe Biden will get too far. But you got like Kamala Harris. You got what you call it?
What's her name? Jumping. Cortez chick. Can she?
She's not old enough. She's not old enough to run for president.
She's not. She hasn't before. Yeah, you're right. My bad. I was thinking.
But
I mean, unless they change. I'm just joking. I didn't even think about her age. She act like a.
Yeah, well, Cortez is a whole nother stream. We're gonna talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
She just had like stank face.
Yeah,
I keep forgetting she's so young.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. She's 20 something.
I totally keep forgetting she's so young.
Yeah, but as far as like the candidates are concerned, do y'all think there's anybody that's about to run right now that has any chance? I mean,
Mike Pence.
You had no, I'm talking about
Democrats. Say something random.
Yeah, you have
he's not gonna run.
You have Chuck.
Chucky Shoo Shoo.
No. What's his name? Why can't I remember his name? Cory Booker.
Spartacus.
Cory Spartacus Booker. You got Kamala Harris. You got Colonel Sanders, who's going to be running. What he looks like those dudes that were in the Muppets, right? But he's, you think about it. Hillary could probably want to jump in because Sanders is 77 years old. Hillary's only 71. Trump is 71. So Hillary might, she already hinted that a couple months ago that she would think about doing it.
Really?
But I think that she probably would slay all the rest of them and then get whooped again.
Wow. If she does it, I literally would have to pray for her.
But so Rachel says that she thinks that Kamala Harris might be a challenge. I think that she would be a challenge up until the primaries because her history is so bad that she would get creamed. Her history, especially being that the governor, or was it the governor? I forgot his name. That she slept with in order to get her first political positions, so to speak. he admitted to that happening while he was a married man. That junk, that might follow. It probably will follow her, and people are not gonna, let it fly. So, which segues into the last thing I want to talk about really quickly, which is crazy that we've been seeing, is that if you noticed, you sit back and notice, the liberals, the progressives, are beginning to eat each other alive. They're beginning to turn on each other. If you look on Twitter, you look on, especially with the Justice Smollett stuff and how they're quickly jumping the gun, and now they're like attacking each other, all that stuff. They really are, self-destructing. Just like in the Bible with what's his name, Gideon, where Gideon, all he had to do was listen to what God told him to do. And it may seem weird, it may seem out of place. Do what God tells him to do, and then watch the enemy fight amongst themselves and destroy themselves. So my last word for you tonight is do what God told you to do. When it comes to this political stuff, when it comes to your family, when it comes to your business, jump out there, step out there in faith, do what God told you to do. Don't worry about what your enemy, the Democrats, the progressives, stay abreast of what's going on.
Can I say one thing real quick? Because I know this has been long. Because
we're going on an hour.
Okay, I just want to touch on this real quick, because again, just kind of, because with what you just said, I just kind of want to touch on this real quick. Because the truth, again, like I said, is we have to remember we line up with what the Word of God says at any given time. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because I don't know if you remember during the March for Our Lives, that woman who was a Democrat,
right.
from
Louisiana.
I have to look her up.
Maybe there was a Democrat from Louisiana.
She stood with everything she said and has done lines up with what the Word of God.
So what we're talking about is at the March for Life, there was a Democrat, and thanks, man, I appreciate it. We're almost done here. But there was a Democrat who spoke at the March for Life. And my wife is looking up to her name. And this goes to show again that we're not about a party. We're about, Christocrats are about who follows the Word of God, right? And it always usually generally ends up being conservatives. But so this lady, she got up there and spoke and said that, she might have some other policies or liberal policies, but she goes with, she's pro-life because she is following the Word of God. She's a Christian first. That's what she said. She's a Christian first. And you would never see a liberal rally with a real conservative get a chance to speak. But we allowed her to speak, and she said because she is a Christian first, that means that she is a person who is pro-life, and that's the whole message of a Christocrat.
I got it. Maybe I'll find the link and we can share it in the.
We'll put the link to who she is. But so yeah, I mean, we need to remember that this stuff is going to keep going. It's going to keep happening, but we need to not be ashamed. Do what God tells you to do and how He tells you to do it, no matter how strange or weird or whatever. That's I thank you so much. The most people that we had in the stream was 11, but I'm still giving it my all because it's what God told us to do. And watch our enemies devour themselves. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share this video. I know it's an hour long, but maybe some parts of it, whatever you like, you didn't like, give us some of your comments or whatever. Thank you so much for the super chats. We love you guys so much. We'll do another live thing if you like this. We'll do it later on.
And I'll actually be on camera next time.
And maybe my wife will be on camera next time.
After I haven't had
But we love you so much. Remember, love God, hate sin. We're not left, we're not right, but we're up. Y'all have a good night.